Let me get this straight. You blew up a building.
2 CIs and the CEO of 22andU.
Two competing federal agencies with the same mission.
I don't understand why those Fed a-holes are so darn mean.
To protect the public from the scourge of dangerous misinformation.
You know those bum idiots. This is all them. We had a solid case.
The word entrapment, not even in their vocabulary.
The explosives we provided were fake.
Sworn to a duty to always tell the truth.
We have no indication at this time that this was a deliberate act.
We're all being transferred.
To where?
The only place currently with openings. Alaska.
Good morning.
Welcome to the office, huh?
And we got the retro feel. You know, funny about federal buildings, they're all different, but they're still somehow all the same.
Oh, good morning, Agent Walker. At the coffee station. We actually drew straws before he got here, and I won, so we get to work together.
Let's get started. Let's see if we can't stir something up.
Let's give it a minute. I like to warm up the truth muscles a little coffee beforehand.
Well, what do you want to do first?
What do we have for a surveillance van?
Oh, wow. I got a Ford Explorer. We don't have a surveillance van.
Do you put many cases here?
Cases?
Yeah, cases. We're the tip of the spear when it comes to protecting American democracy.
You really believe this? You really believe that people posting crap online is going to cause our country to crumble?
I think the work that we do is important.
We don't have a surveillance van.
Me and some people got one. We've never needed one.
We need a surveillance van. We need a big case or a CI who can lead us to a big case.
What do you need the van for?
Surveillance.
CIs, or confidential informants, are the lifeblood of any good law enforcement agency. Public posts on social media are one of the best ways to find CIs. Agents would never use coercion or take things out of context to try and persuade someone to become a confidential informant.
New Taylor Swift single is absolute fire. I'm just seeing a lot of incendiary and violent language here.
Agents always need to be on their toes and ready to make snap decisions.
Is there anything I can do for you guys? Actually, David, there is something you can do for us.
Chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggies.
What?
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. McDonald's cheeseburger.
Burger King.
Burger King cheeseburger.
Flame broiled.
Chicken nuggets.
Oh, baby, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be your beaver pilot. Said, honey, know you're gonna like it. I wanna be.
Awesome, right?
Is this a loner?
This thing's totally legit.
What is this? It's got windows!
That always makes me laugh. It does.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello,
Welcome.
everyone. Welcome to Friday night.
It is Friday night. Yes, it is. We are kicking it live right here in Anchorage, Alaska, with brand new freaking microphones, Michael.
Yeah, they're cool. They're exciting.
Look at you can't see yours because you got that thing. What the hell is that in the way?
Oh, it's the chimney from my model of reactor number 4 at Chernobyl. April 86. That's the pinnacle of Soviet technology right there, or energy technology anyway.
Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
You guys are
40 years ago.
almost
40 years ago.
49,960 to go.
You know, it's like right in front of your face, right?
Yes.
That's for real.
Well, I didn't really have a
there
spot to put it, see?
Oh, right. You can move it over to the other way.
But then it falls.
Oh. Okay. You could move you over to the other side.
No, then I'm not comfortable.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We need to make sure you're.
Well, and because it's a nuclear reactor, I sprayed it with glow in the dark spray paint just so it gets that nice little radiation glow. So I've got it here in front of the light.
Yeah. Oh, dude, these so I got here early, switched out these microphones, and I am liking this. I think let us know how we sound. But
I'm digging
to
them.
me, yeah, I would just had my earphone in listening to the broadcast, and man, it actually sounds pretty good. Might be a little low. Maybe come up one click on your volume there.
Okay, how's that?
I think it's all right.
All
And
right, there you go.
We're not really bleeding over into each other either. The yellow boxes aren't lighting up when somebody else is talking.
Yours did. Mine did.
Well, when I'm talking, my box lights up, but yours doesn't.
Are you sure? Mine's right there.
Well,
I see it.
But yours is not lighting up right now.
Yours. There's mine. There's yours. There's mine.
Yeah, well, you're really loud. Because you're too
Well,
loud.
you know, I'm a loud guy. I've had that all my life.
But it's not coming through. It might look like it's yellow, but it's not coming through because the gate that I have on is closing and staying closed.
Speaking of all my life, you guys got 2 weeks left for any birthday shopping. You want to shop early and avoid the rush.
Oh, is that the case?
Well, it's for the best, you know.
Right.
I'm a size Gibson guitars if anyone, really wants to do some serious shopping.
We'll put that on the list.
Yeah.
Yes. So, it's Friday, Michael. It's finally Friday.
Yeah, I could dig it.
I can too. I'm enjoying it. I'm glad it's the weekend. It's been a long week. Been a bit of a long. I think. I don't know.
Weekends almost don't apply for me. Just because I got to work Saturday and Sunday, because I got to work every day, actually.
Because you own a store.
Because I hustle, damn it.
Always hustling.
Yeah.
Every day I'm hustling.
Oh, we did pretty good on the furniture find as this past week. 4 full van loads of Sunday and Monday to bring in and then get the store not look crowded with it all.
Yep.
But
you can back away from the mic just a little bit. There you go.
But out of all those items, 5 of them had to be resurfaced by opening business Tuesday. Which, I was tired of doing that.
I bet you were.
Yeah, but luckily it was just all surface tops and, not like spiral spindles or anything like that. It just takes more time.
Yeah, we're missing Jody. She was here last week finally, and then tonight realized, I have a show I have to go do. So fortunately, no Miss Jody tonight.
Yep. Can't stop theater. We're just not important enough to do that.
No. She's got to go do things in a club.
Well, it's an easy way to skip the cover charge.
Yes. And make a little money on the side.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's probably primary job, but yeah.
All right. Well, so every day I get more and more surprised at this freaking case, dude. You can't think how much more ridiculous can it get?
Oh, I'll bet you. Besides the intro music for the incoming witnesses.
Yeah, right. Here's a little freaking
announcing your objections through ESP is not allowed to actually state them. Yeah, I'll bet you you get way worse than this.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So the first stupid thing is,
remember to share.
Yeah, I will. All right, let's just kick it off with the stupid. So,
hello, Robbie.
The lead case. What's that?
No, it just says Robbie joined, so I said hello, Robbie.
Oh, weird. The lead case agent was named what? Who was the lead case agent?
Proctor, wasn't it?
Yes, Michael Proctor was the lead case agent in this case. This guy was doing the DNA evidence, right?
Barry Sheck? Oh no, it'd be Mr. Fung.
No. Well, yeah, this case is Mr. Fung. He's the DNA guy. So answer, tell me why this question would be something you shouldn't ask. Just
investigator
reports to in this case.
I'm sustaining the objection.
Why? Did you send those reports to Michael Proctor?
Back this up a little bit.
Who
Is
was
it the lead
that
investigator?
You sent the reports to in this case.
I'm sustaining the objection.
Why is that question not allowed?
Who sent him the reports?
No, who did he send the report to?
Oh.
The lead case agent in this case was fired, partially and mostly because of his actions on this case. How in the world is it not allowed to be asked who that person is?
Well, Proctor's not on trial here.
Right, but you can't just disappear him from the case. He's part of the case.
Right.
The defense's argument is this case was handled shittily. Is a word. I looked it up.
I'll bet. No, I can dig it.
Shittily is a word. At least it is now. So if your argument is the case was handled badly and the lead case agent was fired, how is that not allowed to, how is he not allowed to be brought up in the trial? Does that make any sense at all?
Well, it's damaging to the state's case, so.
Yeah. Right. Any actual legal reason for not being able to ask that question?
Hashtag not a lawyer.
Of? Or any other, like, well, yeah. And so he even goes.
Investigator reports to in this case.
I'm sustaining the objection.
Why? Did you send those reports to Michael Proctor?
Sustain.
Why?
Jurors, strike the question.
Why? I have nothing further. Thank you, sir.
But why? He's allowed to say who he sent the reports to and who was requesting them. I don't understand the basis for that objection or it being sustained.
Mr. Porto, based on...
Right? I don't either. Except for, ouch, that hurts because Proctor's name is mentioned. And it hurts our case.
Yeah. I don't get it. But that's not the first thing in this trial that I didn't get.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reason for it.
Yep. All right. So then let's see. There's a little bit, she lets in a little bit by Proctor, and then so we got basically today was like silly scientific stuff. Like the DNA came back and
the blood was red.
Yeah. And there was DNA on. Okay. So yeah, let's listen to this here. Yeah, no, I got her up too. I'll pull that up in a second. Mm. Wow. Typed in the word contributors and comes up 63 times.
Now, that profile, in addition to Mr. O'Keefe.
So they tested the clothing, right?
Yeah.
And then they tested the glass.
The DNA profile was interpreted as a mixture of 3 contributors, including male DNA. Contributor 1 is suitable for comparison, and due to limited information, contributors 2 and 3 are not suitable for comparison.
So on pretty much everything, it came up that John O'Keefe obviously was one of the contributors, especially on his clothes. But there were other contributors on his clothes, but they never know who.
Well, I mean, who could test them all, you know?
Right. So this is in cross.
Correct.
Here we go.
Correct.
Right.
One of those contributors appeared to be John O'Keefe. Is that fair to say?
He was included into
right.
the profile.
With regard to the other 2 contributors, who were they?
They could be anybody.
Unknown.
They could be
It could be anybody, any human.
Anybody out there in the world. It could just be them.
Some guy named Joe from Kansas.
Could have been you, Michael.
It wasn't me. I was here the whole time.
Yep.
Were you ever asked to compare DNA samples from either Canton Police Detective Kevin Albert or Canton Police Chief Kenneth Berkowitz to the DNA profile that you analyzed from that passenger side taillight?
Is he asking if the police chief and the other officer asked him to test those, or is he asking if he tested for those people?
Tested for those people.
Yeah.
So
That's what I
push your
thought I
mic
heard.
away. Just push your mic away a little bit. You're a little close.
All right, I like it.
I know. We'll get there. We'll work it out. Turn it down a little bit next. And then let's see.
Drinking glass to compare the DNA profile that you analyzed with the DNA of either Boston Police Sergeant Brian Albert or ATF agent Brian Higgins.
I was not.
Wearing.
Did you compare it to Brian Albert or Brian Higgins? Nope. Then did you even ask about Brian? Did you even get a sample from them? Nope. So, just more chances for what's the word I'm looking for? Doubt. Reasonable doubt. Jesus.
Yeah. And I knew the word wasn't justice.
No.
There were all these unknown samples.
Okay, so all right, so yesterday, so that was it. And then we did the taillight dance today, right? We did taillight all day. And we did DNA, and then we did the lady who did the taillight reconstruction here.
Yes.
There's taillight.
And McValera.
There's a whole bunch of pieces that they found that don't fit anywhere, that they can't tell if it's from her taillight or not. But that just gets kind of like, why would there be pieces of other taillight there?
Well, because they weren't sure of this type of car she had when they were around busting other taillights to create the evidence. So it's like they didn't realize that the LX was different than the GT, and they first broke the wrong one, and then they didn't completely clean out the envelope.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I mean, that's one theory I got, but hey, happens to fit the facts so far.
All right. Okay, so on the 11th of May, all right, let's go back even farther. One of the people that testified here is a guy named Ian Whiffen. Okay. was the cell phone expert for the Commonwealth. Okay. And
The
then
forensic cell phone expert?
Yes. One of them, not the lady with the turban. The dude. And then so he had written a report. In fact, let me bring up the timeline so we all know what we're talking.
Like Chicago Bears with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears with me.
Or like Bear Arms. That's when you wear a tank top. Bear
Or like
Arms.
or like a grizzly bear. Maybe grizzly bear with me.
Grizzly Bear Arms, yes.
So Ian Whiffen testifies, and Ian Whiffen has done a report. And Ian Whiffen's report.
That sounds like a joke name right away.
Mr. Whiffen's report says that there is a specific time when stuff happens.
Witching hour.
Yep. And okay. Getting there. Getting there.
Okay.
Okay, this is the timeline. This is a timeline from a contributor named Lucy Goosey, who is a complete badass. This is all every time according to everything in this case, right? That starts on 1/28/22. In fact, there even goes back to 2016. Katie McLaughlin and Caitlin Albert take a trip to Maine together. But on 1/28/22, then we go down to 1/29/22. Everything leading up to this case, including all of the reports that have been given to all of the reports that have been given to state or the defense, all say that there was a triggering event at 12. Hang on, let me get there. Okay. At 12/31/38, there is supposedly the collision between John O'Keefe, right?
Yep.
That is what the state has said. That at 12/31/38, there was a triggering event. Dr. Welcher from Aperture wrote an entire report about this. But Mr. Whiffen testified that on John's phone, after this triggering event where he supposedly was hit, he took 36 steps. He unlocked the phone by his Face ID. He read a message from Jen McCabe, and then he locked the phone with his thumb, right?
Okay.
And then at 12/32/16, the last steps that he took ceased, okay? This is the last movement or anything of his phone until 6:00 the next morning, right? He gets all these missed calls, but 6:00 when they find the phone and pick it up, supposedly. So do you see the problem here? That if he's hit at 12/31/38, he can't really lock his phone because yesterday the examiner testified that he was probably unconscious.
Well,
on December 8th, the day after, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. On May 8th, the state's aperture expert drops a new report that says, oh, I messed up. I need my timeline to coincide with Mr. Whiffin's timeline. In fact, that was part of the email or part of the report that he said, my report doesn't link up with this. So now I'm changing the state's report to say that, oh, this event now happened here at 12/32/16. The defense said, no, you can't do that. You can't just change your timeline. You can't just say, oops. Also, there is a sequestration. Remember the whole thing about experts not being able to watch testimony?
Yeah.
Well, how did the state's expert know that Ian Whiffen testified that at 12/32/16? And what their excuses are saying is, oh, John's phone was off compared to the Lexus. And so because of this drift, it works out that it exactly coincides with Ian Whiffin's report that our other expert report says. And so the defense has been questioning people based on this timeline, this happening. Jim McCabe, Ian Whiffen, all the people that they have crossed has been based on this timeline, right?
Right.
And now they're changing this timeline. And the state had the gall to argue today that we're not changing anything. Well,
Right.
if you're not changing anything, why do you need a new report? So, all right. So we get done with the testimony today. Here. Here. All right. So we get back. Let's do a different. All right, let's listen to Melanie Little because I know she's going to be freaked out about this. So this was the argument today here. Make sure I'm sharing. Sharon,
with regard to the issues we have raised with regard to the timing of the May 8th report from Mr. Burgess that the defense received on May 11th. And what I wanted to do, Your Honor, is briefly provide the information Your Honor asked for yesterday, which was how much time.
speed this up because it's. Yeah.
We might need under various circumstances. And so I wanted to take a few moments to put that in context. It will only take me a brief amount of time to do so. So, Your Honor, there is a timing issue, but there's most.
This guy always says, it's only going to take me a minute. This is my last thing. Well, two more things. One more thing. I'll just be brief. And then he keeps going.
Importantly, a substantive issue. I will not, of course, go into the detail of yesterday, but the timing really is informed by the substantive issue. And so with regard to the matter, we went back and we looked at more deeply the effect of this timing and this movement of the what has been referred to as clock drift in Mr. Burgess's report that we got on May 11th. I spoke of the significance yesterday, and here's what I would like to add as is relevant to the time we're going to need. I again urge the court to reject it substantively, because what we did was we went and we looked at.
Yep. And that's their argument is no, you cannot allow this new report to come in, right?
Right.
It just should not be allowed. It's a violation of discovery rules. It's you've already had your shot at this.
The cross-examination of a key witness in this case, Jennifer McCabe. She testified with regard to observing a vehicle at 12:45 a.m. we, and that's a significant point. I know I don't need to elucidate for Your Honor. It goes, all of this is going in significant part, if not total part, to what has been alleged a collision here, which we vigorously contest. It just never, no collision ever occurred. But the timing of it, the timing of what's alleged by the Commonwealth is very important. The seconds are important. Literally 1 second can turn not only the Commonwealth's theory completely around in circles and debunk it, but also the jury's analysis of it. And this is the point I wanted to elucidate today, is that the jurors have been provided information and the defense has aimed its defense on this claim based upon in large part timing. So now what we have is we have on May 11th, Mr. Burgess changing the time. So what does it affect? Not only witnesses like Jennifer McCabe, who we crossed, we strategized.
So just so we were clear, there's a new report that says this time is different, right?
Yeah.
All right. So basically he goes on. We'll skip through this a little bit here.
Different by how much again?
Theory that they had.
By let's see. It goes from 12/31/38. Now they're saying it happened at 12/31/16. So almost yes, it's half a minute, but it's a very important half a minute, right?
I can see it. I can dig it. Okay.
Yeah.
I cross-examined Mr. Whiffen extensively with regard to that timeline. There were several defense strategies, and effectuations of strategies based upon that timing. So with regard to the substance, Your Honor.
So he says he's going to need like 4 days.
Strategically or substantively from it, given all that's been presented to the jury, and it will be very difficult to figure out how we're going to go present a defense after we've already presented to the jury our defense and our cross-examination. It's not really structurally possible to simply take 4 days and address Mr. Burgess, because we can't go back to all the witnesses I just mentioned and others, answer the question, try to
respectfully, Your Honor, the defense is very confused. They attempt to confuse the issue. They attempt to confuse Your Honor about what the impact.
So if there's no change, why do you need a new report?
This has never been a change. The government is not changing their timeline. The Commonwealth is not changing any information. The Commonwealth is not offering anything that affects in any way the testimony of witnesses.
Why do you need a new report then, if you're not changing anything?
It's notable.
Any thoughts on that? Why?
Well, you need the report to match what the witnesses are telling you.
Yes, exactly.
The argument, there is no relationship to the facts of the actual report that was provided. The Commonwealth has always provided the data, which they have, and they hadn't a chance to analyze. And the interpretation of the data has been different between the parties. We have been clear.
So, and you know what really got me yesterday too in the hearing was, you remember the one hearing they had where they brought in the folks from ARCA and they grilled him on the stand, and Brennan here actually yelled at him. You remember that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You remember that or no?
Not hardly. Sorry.
All right. So they basically, the experts, the Commonwealth experts, they made them come in for an extra voir dire, yelled at him for a while. And then the judge said, even though there has been serious violations and all that, I'm still going to let them testify, right? She said, you have to you can testify, you have to get your report done by May 7th. Well, yesterday she said that she left it open whether she was going to allow them to testify or not. I mean, that's the kind of shit that this defense team has to put up with. She said, oh, I'm going to let them testify. They have to have their report done by the 7th. And yesterday she went back on that and said, well, I left it open whether I was going to let them testify or not.
From the beginning, at the time in which the infotainment system shows that there was a collision, we've been clear. And the data has been clear. That has never changed. That data front.
He's fucking lying.
At 12:45. That is not consistent with the Commonwealth timeline, but the report, as it further focuses, the variant that we've already discussed and provided isn't a reason to exclude it. It's not late discovery. It's not a Rule 14 violation. It is further analysis of information that was already provided, opinions that
by Mr. Burgess.
You know, it's further analysis. Basically, he's saying, well, we decided to, analyze it some more.
We just tweaked the numbers a little more.
Yeah, exactly. So unless he comes back and actually
his report, Mr. Burgess, his new purported report of May 8th, he references to align it with Mr. O'Keefe's cell phone. That is the essence of Mr. Whiffin's report, is anchoring in his timeline. He did a whole timeline on Mr. O'Keefe's report. And conveniently, the proposed alteration by Mr. Burgess in his report of this clock drift now makes it very, very close to fitting within Mr. Whiffin's timeline and the theory of the prosecution. At a minimum, we need a voir dire to ask Mr. Burgess, why did he do what he did? Another reason for the voir dire. Mr. Brennan yesterday said, we were surprised to get the report. That further makes great concern.
Oh, yeah. The Commonwealth said too, well, we were shocked. We didn't even know that this report was coming. It just showed up. Here's this new report that just showed up. You believe that?
Yeah.
Believe that this expert just did that on his own.
Well, it's better than saying it like fell behind a filing cabinet or something and we just found it.
Concern as to why Mr. Burgess did what he did.
Yes, grave
Lastly,
concerns.
Your Honor, with
Say, Your Honor, you should have grave concerns about this, Your Honor. Say that.
regard to why to get the report. That further makes great concern as to why Mr. Burgess did what he did. Lastly, Your Honor, with regard to Mr. Brennan's point, he made it yesterday and I corrected it. He said it again today, that supposedly our witness, Mr. DeSogra, made an error and that we're trying to correct an error of Mr. DeSogra. That is incorrect, Your Honor. Again, Mr. DeSogra was responding to Mr. Burgess's report. Mr. DeSogra's report is entirely saying, okay, Mr. Burgess says this, and therefore the defense says this. Now Mr. Burgess is changing what.
So Brendan is also mad because they got this whole new aperture experts, right? And then the defense's witnesses, which are the ARCA guys, their experts, were allowed to do some stuff to rebut what this new accident reconstructionist said, right?
Yeah.
So Brennan is mad because the ARCA experts did experiments and demonstrations to prove their points. Can you believe that, Michael? That expert people in crash reconstructionists did experiments and they didn't just look at numbers and write a report? I mean, what kind of experts are these?
Well, you got to test your theories, don't you?
Yeah, unless you're the Commonwealth, and then you just look at numbers and write a report.
Right.
And then you decide to change the report because it doesn't fit the timeline. Right?
Right.
I mean, that's the way experts are supposed to be done. They're not supposed to be done as not supposed to do experiments, Michael. Come on.
What he is saying. So it is
They did experiments with stuff, and they had hypothesis, and they used the scientific method.
And it's peer reviewed.
Yeah, right.
completely incorrect to say that Mr. DeSogra is trying to correct an error. That would require, again, Mr. DeSogra to change what he has done. Final point is this. There was also an issue, Your Honor, and this is extremely important with regard to burden shifting. There's not only the question of should this be allowed at all.
Right, so this was the arguments. They went back and forth. You know, Dickhead got back up and
representations
and yelled for a bit. Then they did more. This is a taillight. This is a taillight, Michael.
And
See
what are we
that?
looking at in this photograph?
Because you're
so on the
normally
right side is
black.
that piece that was just shown.
Yeah,
And on the left side is item 3-1.
that's a taillight, and those are taillight pieces of plastic.
Okay.
Yeah, lighting stuff. All right, so here's the freaking
Is
ruling.
there something after this? 2 reports that you had that were incorporated in what the Commonwealth had given me a few minutes before, but I appreciate that it was pointed out here. We've had full argument on this yesterday and today. My findings for the record are that the defendant has not persuaded me of undue surprise or unfair prejudice by this information, and I don't find that there's delayed disclosure. Of course, all of this is ample game for cross-examination.
Bullshit.
Certainly as to what Mr. Burgess knew, what he looked at, why he looked at it, when he looked at it, why he changed his report, and violation of the sequestration order is all for cross-examination, and I will give you.
Violation of the sequestration order is game for cross-examination. Believe that shit? I mean,
It's bad enough that the prosecution doesn't get punished for any sort of wrongdoing. They're not even getting called out for any wrongdoing.
Oh,
you're pretty much saying all their conduct's on the level.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of leeway with that, Mr. Alessi, but I'm not having a voir dire on that.
Here's the thing: they're allowed to have.
This is an interesting fact. The defense and the Commonwealth have both asked for voir dires of different witnesses, right?
Right.
How many of the defenses do you think have been granted?
Oh, none, of course. That's just a waste of the court's time.
Yep, they've all asked for 5. I think both sides have asked for 5 voir dires. 0 were granted for the defense. How many do you think the Commonwealth, the prosecution got?
My gosh, at least 5.
4 out of the 5. 4 out of the 5 that they asked for, they got.
A lot of leeway anyway on cross-examination, you dumbass.
Alessi, I can tell you, obviously, you've got a great facility for cross-examining on the underlying information here. You've done fulsome cross-examinations. I have every confidence you can do it here again. But if after the direct,
You're a really
you
good lawyer, Mr.
demonstrate that
Alessi.
you need further time, I'll certainly hear you on that. And more importantly, perhaps, if you feel that the testimony of Jen McCabe and the others that you've mentioned is critical and that you need to recall them, I'll hear you on that as well.
You need to recall them?
So,
That looks bad to the
regarding
jury.
Dr. Welcher, as my
Mm.
understanding, the request yesterday was
Reversible
for,
error.
and it's been a request, I think, a few days. We've addressed it at sidebar, and I found that it wasn't the right time. Let's see how much Dr. Welcher could go through. I understand Dr. Welcher will testify in the Commonwealth's case in
Fixes
chief
in.
next week or so, Mr. Brennan.
Hopefully next week, if not
All right.
the day after the holiday.
And that will be for all.
I don't. So they've still got. Oh, I mean, they were only supposed to go like 4 or 5 weeks, right? I think they said 4 weeks. She keeps saying, "Oh, we're on time. We're on time." Well, this is the end of week 4. He just said that expert won't be on the stand until the end of next week or the day after the holiday, which is Monday. Right, the holiday's on Monday. So, how the hell are they on time?
All of
How is that on time?
Yeah.
the material that was provided to the defendant initially, right, by the Commonwealth's discovery deadline?
Correct.
And what you're asking for is that after ARCA testifies the new information, you're asking for rebuttal, right?
Yes, limited to the new information.
All right, so I would allow under these circumstances a
It's so insane, dude. The defense's experts got together because of and rebutted the Commonwealth's new expert, right? So their expert
Right.
said, "Oh, the Commonwealth held back the report until the very end, didn't give the experts of the defense very much time to do their work, and are now bitching because they haven't had enough time to rebut the experts' rebuttal. So the rebut of the rebut, they need more time to do the rebut of the initial. It's just, this is so insane, dude.
Yeah.
I can't even describe how fucking insane this is. It's just,
limited rebuttal, and we can define the scope after we hear the testimony of ARCA. So those are my rulings. Your objections were noted. I'll see everybody on Monday.
I don't know if this is something that they can take an immediate appeal to the SJC on, but that would be money well spent because this is bullshit. This would never happen.
I want to
any
hear
other
her a
part of
little
the
bit.
trial, any other part of this country, and I am outraged, and you should be too. And sorry, Jesse Weber, but I'm turning you off. I need to hear that ruling one more time because my head is in Connecticut right now. So this is insane. We just read the retired judge's tweet that said that if this is allowed, yeah, grounds for appeal if needed. It doesn't matter. Witnesses have already testified. This is the timeline they have chosen for this trial. And now they are completely changing their timeline based on the time drifting BS that Whiffen testified to. And everything is screwed up. No, recalling these witnesses again does not help the defense. It makes them look bad in front of the jury. This whole thing is what a nightmare. What
most legal people are looking at this and saying that this is amazing, that not only is she letting this in, she's not even, like you said, she's not even saying it's a violation, right?
Yeah. And one not likely to be addressed in jury instructions or anything.
No. Now this is, I mean, the legal team that Karen Reed has is probably one of the top defensive legal teams in the and they're not really even a team, they're just kind of a team brought together for this trial, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But Robert Alessi is a master at freaking cross, especially on the expert witnesses. That dude is just, I mean, it seems like he's pretty much an expert himself in all of these fields. Like he started talking about the lining of the stomach yesterday and started talking with the forensic pathologist about, different parts of the stomach and the lining and he's just rattling off these medical terms like it's nothing.
Right. 27 letter words and whatnot.
Then he'll turn around. He does the same thing with cell phone people. He starts going into the in-depths about, I mean, this dude must have the brain. He must be like on Elon level kind of brain function. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just able to completely take in information and hold on to it. And yeah, it's just, I mean, one thing after another that you just keep finding out these stupid little things about this case, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I think that this case will probably be in legal textbooks eventually for like the stupidest thing,
How about they should be like in Far Side books?
Yeah, exactly. Like this is oh my gosh,
Where'd you go? It's me again. Yeah, well, it's weird. It's just me now.
Hi.
Oh, hey, there you go. Welcome back, Rob.
I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, exactly.
I've done that.
This is I can't remember. It's a Mark Betterow. He's a New York City attorney. He almost was on this this defense team, and he represents Turtle Boy in his ongoing crap. But this person said, what am I missing? Why can't they ask who he sent his report to? And Mark Betterow is like, well, of course it was a proper question. She sustained the general question, so she was programmed to sustain a specific question to Proctor. Might have been different if the first question was simply, did you give it to Proctor? This is a problem with the unpredictability of Judge Cannoni. It's impossible to predict or understand how she will rule from question to question. Oh, yeah, one other thing. At the very beginning of today, so yeah, yesterday, Yannetti was crossing somebody, and she wouldn't let him get this question in, and he asked it, and she sustained another objection, and he said, I need to be heard on this. We need to have a sidebar, because she said no sidebar, right? He's like, I want a sidebar. Judge said, nope, no sidebar. Yannetti said, went on, asked the question again, or a different question went along the same lines, and she said sustained. He's like, I want to get a question. I'm up to the box, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody called him an asshole at that moment. Somebody it's not sure. And let me see if I can just find it real quick, because that was kind of funny. Somebody a
court officer
maybe There's also we realized yesterday that there's microphones that line the jury box.
Ugh.
The judge has a microphone. Okay, so
by drinking alcohol in his cruiser.
Sustained in jurors, I'm going to ask you to strike that question, disregard.
I need to be heard at sidebar.
I will hear you.
right before it goes mute, do you hear it?
No, I didn't.
Let's listen real close. It starts to come. It just starts to come out. It doesn't even get the whole hole out. It's just ass. Hear it or no?
Well, I heard something. I didn't hear.
Okay. Somebody if you probably might need to be on mine or whatever, but somebody did say.
Yeah.
And then there's also been like some of the reporters have said that,
Morning again.
some of the jurors have like one guy's got like a smirky face all the time. Like there's people that react to what's happening, right?
Maybe he's got resting smirk face.
And that's actually what somebody said is this juror probably has resting smirk face. Yes. So this was this morning.
Council, good morning again, Ms. Reed. Good morning, jurors. So, I appreciate your patience. I have to ask you those 3 questions. Were you all able to follow my instructions and refrain from discussing this case with anyone since we left yesterday? Yes. Everyone said yes and nodded affirmatively. Were you also able to follow my instructions and refrain from doing any independent research or investigation into this case?
No, sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Did anyone happen to
Yep.
see, hear, or read anything about this case since we left yesterday? No. I have one other important instruction for you folks, and it's so important that each and every juror can hear the evidence or the testimony that's presented, can follow the testimony, and can understand and evaluate the testimony of each witness and the exhibits. In order to do that, I just want to be very clear that it's important that people do not comment on the evidence or make any comments. Once you enter the room, it's probably a good idea to just listen. Don't talk. Don't make any facial expressions, no muttering under your breath, no audible noises, because people need to hear what's going on and to understand everything. So out of respect for your fellow jurors, I would ask that you be very careful to make sure you don't do that. And out of respect.
I'm going to modulate the volume in a second. Just relax. Just relax. Let's see if somebody can find a mic first. One of the jurors must have been the one who said a-hole under their breath. That's, I think, what she's referring to. So just hang on.
Back to the lawyers who worked so hard to get this case before. Okay, thank you very much. With that, Mr. Brennan, your first witness, please.
Or if I could begin.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I know I couldn't be a jury. I'd like to be on one just because, criminal justice degree, work in the courthouse. It's sort of
Right.
things, got a somewhat of an interest in, but I don't think I could. Well, I don't think I could sit there all day and not fall asleep.
No, you could not.
Yeah, but
I
then
already tell
not
you that.
say anything.
You would not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but then not be able to say anything throughout especially with the ridiculous,
Right.
Some attorneys, they got to make it sound like they're putting their case on in front of a 5-year-old,
Right. Oh God. Yeah, no, exactly. They definitely talk.
I'm not
like
sure I
they're-
could sit through hours on end of that.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. It's yeah, so some of the reports are that there are like, when you're around people and you can't really talk about the case, you talk about everything else, right? So,
Oh,
the
yeah, but
jurors
there's only so much of your dog and your favorite fishing spot and all that you're gonna talk about when the main thing that everyone's here for is this.
Yeah, no,
that
I
we
know.
can't talk about.
But when they go to lunch, when they go on breaks, and so how little cliques form too. In any group situation, people are going to form cliques. They're just going to happen. And
Oh,
so
yeah, sure.
And so it seems like there's little cliques forming. There's people that, that laugh with each other and everything. Then there's the smirky face guy. Then there's the note taker guy. There's one guy that just, I guess all he does is write notes. Barely looks up at witnesses from his notes. He's already gone through like 2 notebooks, multiple
Yeah.
pens.
Well, he's probably going to need those for the book deal.
Yeah, God. So we had an admonishment to the jury to focus on the evidence. Don't make faces. Don't Ow. If it was a juror that mumbled asshole.
Yeah. Probably an easy way to get yourself excused if you're done with this case.
Right. But we don't know exactly who that would be geared toward. And I'll tell you why. And this just popped into my head.
By drinking alcohol in.
So Unetti's trying to ask a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
By drinking.
Let's just play the whole thing. So he's talking about Trooper Proctor and Kevin Albert. Oh yeah. TP. Talking about TP and Kevin Albert getting drunk and is stopping on the way back from some case and getting wasted, and Kevin Albert lost his gun. And so that's what he's talking about. That's another reason why Proctor got fired, right? So he's trying to get this into this trooper. And so that's the context of this. So
By drinking alcohol in his cruiser.
Sustained injures, I'm going to ask you to strike that question. Disregard.
I need to be heard at sidebar.
I will hear you.
Okay, so the speculation is that it was always that Yannetti is the asshole, right?
Right.
What if it's a juror wants to hear the answers to the question, is tired of all the sustaining that she does for the prosecution, and is calling the judge an asshole?
That I normally don't. I mean, not that I'm the world's greatest potty mouth, but asshole's not really what I reserve for females.
Right, but if the shoe fits,
I get you.
And that was a female voice. That was not a male voice. That was a female voice.
Okay.
So I would say yes. Normally, a male would not call a female an asshole. But, and then let's see, what was, oh gosh. Was it Ted Daniels that had, no, it was Howie Carr. And this is why I just thought of that. Because if
you're not sharing?
No, I know. I was trying to find it.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be. If I'm going to look through X, I'm going to not share X because
I got you.
Because of the stuff that you could possibly pop up, and I do not want to have stuff flashing over
search
YouTube.
history.
Oh my God! Well, no, just because you never know what's going to show up on X, man. Okay, so this is Howie Carr. He's a New England talk show host. He was talking about this. He says, Aunt Beverly feuding with the jury. Early as AM, she admonished the jury as how to react to evidence. Never heard a judge say such a thing in America. But then we're not in America. We're in Norfolk County. Now, I did get a tip from somebody in the know. Good morning, Howie. If you've noticed, Benoni has dramatically changed her demeanor during the last several days, far less hostile to the defense attorneys and a little hesitant to automatically sustain a Commonwealth objection, except she's getting back into it. The information is third hand, so here it goes. So obviously take it with a grain of salt. The word is that the jury sent her a note to a court officer that they want her to stop automatically sustaining all of the Commonwealth's objections because the jury, felt it was unfair and they want to hear the witness answer.
Nice.
This information has come from a court officer, hence her change in judicial demeanor. So take it with a grain of salt. So that's why I'm saying
Yeah.
it's not necessarily Yannetti who is the asshole, or who is somebody is saying is the asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking that it could be somebody saying that because of her attitude, because her attitude was like, because she sighed and said, I'll hear you, and basically kind of stood up really abruptly, just kind of displaying asshole behavior, right?
Yep.
So yeah. Can you think of any other case at any time that has been like this one, dude? Any other prosecution, is there anything in your memory that comes to mind that's just this insane?
State of Kentucky versus Larry Flint.
Okay. Yeah.
The first one where he was sentenced to 25 years.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it was turned over on appeal. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The judge really just didn't care for anything his lawyer tried to put forward. It's like, whereas the people should be the deciders of fact and whatnot. And no, that's what I do. The jury decides guilt. Yeah. Or innocence. No, they decide guilt.
Yeah. Oh, they actually are the fact finders. The jury is. Yeah. No, that's a good comparison to this one. I mean, just like, if for some reason, I still think because of the location, because it's Massachusetts, and because it's the second dumbest state in the union, that I don't know that she's, even with all of this, that she would get acquitted. I think it's probably going to be another hung jury. It's just my gut feeling.
There's, if the state really put on, the argument that even if what they're saying is wrong, or shouldn't have been allowed in, and it's being allowed in just to dirty up the handshake to make her convicted, there's still the opportunity that the jury sees all the underhandness and she's acquitted through jury nullification.
Correct. Yes. No, you're
That's
right.
if we're assuming her jury's not full of massholes.
Correct.
Because if they just fall in line with the rest here.
No, you're absolutely correct. If they
if they're straight up, legit normal people who could see through the lies,
Oh no, exactly. It's they're going to have to be able to see through it. But that's the problem is on juries, dude, you always get the one person that is like, the state is right.
Yeah, we're not talking about educated lawyers here that are, paying attention to what's being told. The jury's supposed to be your everyday common folk without, an education in the law and things like that.
No, exactly.
So you might just get some tried and true flag bearers that, agree with everything that your overlords tell you.
Correct. There's always, you always run the risk of having one of the state stooges that I call them. Just somebody that's always going to agree that the state is right. The state can't be wrong. If somebody is on trial, they did it. Because if they got indicted,
why else would they be here in court?
Right, exactly. Why else would they be in court if they weren't guilty already? So yeah, I mean, if it's a hung jury,
then they'll just try her again just to make sure she's bankrupt.
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh yeah, Pat. No, there was a juror on the first jury, and now she's part of the defense team. They actually hired her.
Nice.
Yeah, and in fact, somebody said, and I didn't double check this, but somebody said that Yannetti's a Boston license, so that wouldn't, maybe Oh, what's the term where you come in from outside of a jurisdiction and you have a local lawyer that sponsors you? There's a certain legal term for that I can't think of right now. But I think they're using her as Alessi's because he's from New York. So she's like the local attorney that's sponsoring Alessi from New York, basically. And Pro Hoc Vice, that's what it is. I remembered. You ever heard that
Nice.
before?
Not so much.
Okay.
Normally in this state, we just get Alaska attorneys.
Yeah, exactly. We just get. You are correct, sir. Oh yeah, I can't think of anything. Just I mean, so if for some reason she does get convicted of something, there is so much on here for appeal. Appeal is for losers. You have to lose in order to appeal.
Right.
But still, I would think this shit would get overturned like really, really quickly. Really quickly.
No, she's going to have to go through a Commonwealth appellate court. Unless they can find some way to kick this case to federal.
Yeah.
But I don't see a federal problem here.
Well, the feds have already investigated once.
Well, okay, so there's a federal problem here with her civil rights being violated, Karen Reed's civil rights being violated, you know, with this malicious prosecution. But that's a different matter.
Yep. Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah.
Insane. So insane. All right. Well, that's I can't. Yeah, it gets kicked up to the Supreme Court of the district. Yeah, no, exactly. And appeals aren't quick either. It's not like appeals just happen. And so, yeah.
Even if your hearing comes up quickly, your decision doesn't.
Nope. All right. So I guess in New Orleans, switching gears completely because I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Right.
8 inmates are still at large, including 4 who are convicted of murder after they escaped through a hole behind a toilet in a jail cell from New Orleans. This is them running away.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, no, my knee is. I gotta get up and move soon.
Okay. Well, this was them breaking out of jail.
That's pretty cool. You normally don't get to see that.
No. Let's see. So this is.
Had a bit of a clip to their step. That's nice.
Yeah. There they go. They're all heading the hell out. Now, this next video, I'm not.
That is a large break, dude.
Dude, that's 10. Yeah, 10 originally got out. So
where was this toilet at?
I don't know.
It had to be something communal because it's not like there was, you know, the basin in your cell.
Oh, they're running across the street. Okay. Like, where are they at? Okay, so see right here. Look in the middle of the screen right here. I think they're running that way.
Jaywalking.
I think they're running across. Yeah, they're running across the highway.
Playing frog.
Here comes more of them. Holy snockers.
Any of them rounded up quickly?
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
No, this was 4 hours. So 4 hours ago, we had this. This is.
And I oversee the crime victims unit.
This is a captain of the.
What is she wearing? How is that uniform appropriate?
I have no idea.
Unit for the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office. Once I was notified about the escapees, I immediately get.
Are you only hearing that in one ear or like half an ear or whatever?
I'm good. I hear it.
You hear the whole, you hear it in both ears?
Yeah, there's a team of experienced staff, and we started calling victims and survivors just to make sure that they are aware of what was going on and that they are safe. For the records that had no information, I immediately reached out to our partners. Partners such as NOPD Special Victims Unit, Detective Walton, who was very grateful in helping us, and she provided us with other information that we were able
What are those? That's like, it's like something the Joker or the Riddler would
Yeah, that's
wear.
what I asked. What is she wearing? How is that uniform appropriate for a paramilitary office like a police captain?
That's
That alone.
fucking insane.
Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to see whether any updates. New Orleans. Let's see any updates. Let me here. 2 hours ago, Robert Moody was captured in the 3500 block of 2nd Street.
Went to his girlfriend's home.
1 hour ago, according to the source, a third inmate who escaped from the Orleans Justice Center early Friday has been taken back into custody. So we've got 3 out of 10. That's still not a very good freaking.
Yeah.
That's not a really good.
You know, in a group like that, it's if they split up and go their own way, they're all caught. It's just easier. So if they stay in a group, but you're going to notice a group of 7 dudes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when, you know, like 6 of them are standing back in the shadows as they got like one leader to go out and talk to people or whatever they have to do.
Yeah, no, 7, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
2 or 3 staying together could stay under the radar, but 7, there's just no way you could.
No.
I mean, you could only like carjack minivans. You know what I mean?
What is that? What is this? What is that guy's pants?
Looks like a shark mouth.
What is going on there?
Like the nose art on a Thunderbolt on an A10. That's almost what I think I'm seeing.
Yeah, okay. I guess if you're running from the law, you take whatever pants you can get.
Well, yeah, definitely. You can't just go around in that orange jumpsuit.
No, you cannot. That is pretty wild. All of them freaking.
Subsequently, they go inside that cell, and this is where you see them exiting the loading dock door.
Oh, so that was somebody's cell that was. Okay.
So you see them jarring open the door.
Oh, that's got to be the cell of the security camera. Yeah.
Or that's the cell where the toilet had the hole in it.
Go inside that cell,
Okay.
And this is where you see them exiting the loading dock door.
Wow.
As you know, if you notice, they are carrying blankets with them.
Oh, that dude fell. Did you see dude bite it?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that till just now.
Well, those shower shoes are slippery.
They are carrying blankets
Oh,
with them.
Yeah, it looks like it just his center of balance got ahead of him as he jumped off the dock.
No, exactly.
Go to another door, and here at some point you will see them come through here, and they scale the fence through this door that's near the construction site. They scale that fence, and then make good on their escape, crossing all lanes of I-10.
Man,
They makes you wonder about what sort of sentries or whatnot they might have watching this jail yard.
Probably. I mean, dude, every jail right now is not fully staffed. You know how?
Well, I get that, but still, you'd figure, the property line would be something that was monitored.
Yeah. Okay, so holy shit.
Wow.
That is all it took, dude.
Wow.
Bubba ain't getting through that. If you're Bubba ain't going.
No, Bubba's standing guard.
Bubba's not.
Bubba's distracting the guards so they don't look in and see. That is wild. They just had to rip the thing off the wall. And I would assume quietly so no one hears the destruction going on in the cell.
Right.
Because you don't just rip those things off quietly, I imagine.
No. And there's one bar missing.
And what were they fastened to the wall with? Wood glue?
It doesn't look like much. Well, it looks so you got a hole there, a hole there, a hole there. So you've got some kind of fastener on this side. You can't really see that side, but there's no hole at the top on this side. Hole there. So I mean that.
So just caulk.
Maybe because I don't know what. Yeah, I mean, that looks like there's some kind of fastener hole there, but I mean, unless it's like bolted through, I mean, unless you got like machine bolts through here. And this is aluminum, that's not steel, so it's, holy moly. Good gravy, dude.
And then they just cut out a hole in the drywall.
Or that was there because this is a sewage pipe. This hole looks like it was already there. I bet you this was a known thing, and finally somebody says we're going to do it. And look at it. I mean, they had to have crawled through this little gap. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. This is the gap that they freaking crawled through.
Yeah, gotta stay skinny.
Yeah, Cat doesn't think that's aluminum. Is that steel?
Oh, it's stainless steel.
Okay. No, you're right.
Yeah.
There we go. There's the backside of it.
Okay.
So what was it? I mean, where's the screws?
Well, you could see where it's deformed. So that was just yanked out of the wall.
Yeah, exactly. It probably had like little thin screws on there. There's a screw right there at the top.
And this hole isn't
barely.
That hole's there, and I bet you every toilet has one of those nice little escape holes behind it.
Bet you it does, dude. Is that a broken off a little bit there, or is that still attached? If that's the only gap they had, then Jesus. I mean, that's like a cat being able to get through there. Yeah, that's still attached.
I mean, I wouldn't.
I guess if you can fit your head and shoulders through something, you can get the rest of your body out through it, right? No, what they say.
Maybe. I don't think that applies to me.
I think if even you, well, yeah, you're right, maybe.
I mean, I didn't take physics, but I took geometry.
Yeah. You don't think you're getting out of that? You don't think you're squeezing through that hole?
No. Not even with Crisco.
Is that? Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Notice what? Yeah, I was curious about the.
I didn't even catch that at first. Too easy, LOL.
Wrong too.
Oh my God. Well, yeah.
You're
not dealing with.
You can't expect proper English. Yeah. This is Creole.
Dealing with scholars.
No, scholars, yes.
They're scholars, not scholars. Yeah. Oh my good grief. All right, I better hide just in case something screwy comes up, because you never know. Yeah, so it sounds like still 3 outstanding.
No, 3 captured, 7 outstanding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, this was an hour ago too. Let's see. Hang on. It says OPSO jail escapee Decon Dennis has been captured, is in custody. Oh, is that was he one of the 3? Let's see. Back to the list up here. It was on the Fox 8 New Orleans channel. I can. Let's see. Yep, Decon Dennis. He was one of the 3.
Yeah.
Canaan, DeCannon.
And no brothers in this group.
I'm gonna stop.
What? No brothers, no siblings in this group.
Oh, okay.
Every now and then when you have a capture like that, it's
you would maybe see siblings. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's possible. Oh man.
What do we have? What they're found guilty of? Oh, they're in jail. They may not even be convicted yet. Oh, I gotta love those facial tattoos.
I had to go and now you're a moderator, Kat. Congratulations. Decided to go on a different streaming service today to watch us, so I just made her a moderator. Funny that way.
Yeah.
All right. What else did I find today? Oh yeah. So yeah, I know. I'm having a moment here. Damn it, I thought I had found one. Oh yeah, so for last year or so, the last 4 years since 2020, we knew that the guy that won the presidency supposedly was not the sharpest of tools.
No, the person that was awarded the president.
He did not have the best of faculties left. But so for 4 years, people told us that, oh no, you don't know what you're talking about. This is one example, just one example.
First one, I talk to President Biden, regularly, sometimes several times in a week, or usually several times in a week. His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years. I've been speaking to him for 30 years since we worked on the Brady bill and the assault weapons ban when I was a young congressman. He's fine. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity is declining.
It's propaganda, Michael.
Yeah, of course it is.
Absolutely 100%.
Do not believe your lying eyes.
Nope, don't ever believe your eyes. But if the Democrat Party is good at anything, it is creating a narrative and militantly sticking to it.
Just like they all got the same morning email.
Yep. And he's
going to win the election.
This is the new.
You said in June of last year, in my meetings with President Biden, I found him to be in command and impressive and wielding influence to make progress on key priorities. But in that same month, Biden apparently did not even recognize George Clooney at a fundraiser. Were you being straight with the American public?
Look, we're just looking forward.
To quote Bill Belichick, we're on to Cincinnati.
Yep. That's the narrative. We're looking forward. We're not going to relitigate. We lied to you for years.
We're not living in the past here, okay?
Yep. Nicole Wallace. This is
to take highly misleading. There's a growing and insidious trend in right-wing media, broadcast, print, and social media. It is to take highly misleading and selectively edited videos of President Biden directly from Republican National Committee social media accounts and then use those videos to spread messages virally to cast doubt on President Biden's fitness for office. Here is this headline from the New York Post, quote, Biden appears to freeze up, has to be led off stage by Obama at Megabucks LA fundraiser.
This just happens to be the same fundraiser where he did not recognize George Clooney. He has known George Clooney for for decades, right?
Besides the fact that George Clooney's a public person that, I think any American should recognize, if they've seen a modern movie.
Right. At this fundraiser, Biden did not recognize him, had to be introduced to him. But this is a cheap fake Mike.
The full video posted by Biden finance chair on Twitter shows something entirely different. Biden reacting to applause and then walking off stage with former President Obama. It comes less than 1 week.
Now, did you notice that very wide shot, right?
Right.
Biden reacting to applause and then
is Biden reacting? Is there any reaction going on?
Twitter shows something entirely.
What reaction is he doing?
Different. Biden reacting to applause and then walking off stage with former President Obama. It comes less.
So we have no reaction whatsoever. Then we have a very wide shot of them walking off together. Well, what? Why would they have to have a wide shot, Michael?
Because if you watch the closer one.
If you watch the closer one, you realize that he stands there like a statue. Then he has to be, then the hand has to be like jerked.
And then just slow, careful steps.
Right. But Nicole Wallace, MSNBC, cut that out. So these people want to tell you that they are the arbiters of truth, that misinformation is everything that they don't spout. Yet they sit there and do this for 3 or 4 years. And Jake Tapper writes a book about how the media and everybody else in America was lied to and is going to make money off of the fact that nobody said that. Yeah, oh my God. So yeah, that's
actually no surprise. Remember what's his nuts got like a Pulitzer for all the work he did on the Russiagate?
Yeah. This is a 5-minute CBS News report about it.
Well, it takes time to browbeat the propaganda in.
Yep. So basically what the White House said was it's not a deep fake, it's a cheap fake. It's selectively edited videos to make something seem that it's real when it's not, right? So and then that is what the White House put out as, this is what we want you to say. And then this is what the media actually said. They took it and said, oh yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So people like this,
we'll just put this right into the teleprompter.
Yeah. 5 minutes worth
You've
of.
probably heard of deep fakes, but just last week, as President Biden was at the G7 summit in Italy, cheap fake clips went viral on social media and were picked up by some news outlets.
So the White House came up with this term cheap fake. CBS News just takes it completely whole cloth. Like, oh yeah, no, that makes total sense, White House.
Take a look at this.
Even have their own expert, their own misinformation expert on this 5-minute freaking thing here.
How prevalent Biden and other world leaders watching a skydiving demonstration before the president is seen walking away and looking in another direction. Outlets claimed that he was sort of.
Did you see the Italian premier have to go get his ass?
Look at this clip, for example. It shows Biden and other world leaders watching a skydiving demonstration before the president is seen walking away and looking in another direction.
Yes, sir, they're over this side.
Yeah. Hey, over here. Now you're too far away from the mic.
Claimed that he was.
What's that?
I wasn't talking. I was moving.
Oh, okay. I got you. So yes, now we get a 5-minute report on how horrible this
However,
is.
we have seen, particularly in the last few months, the videos targeting Biden are getting a lot more traction online, and in particular, the ones that target Biden's age. So, for example, like you had said, claim.
So it's an age thing, Michael. It's not a, it's not a.
That he is wandering off and really was having a conversation with somebody. These videos are effective because they're called cheap fakes for a reason. They are quick, they're easy to publish, and often.
Yeah. So we had years of this. Years. Oh yeah, no, they said he was tired, but everybody saw it. That's the most screwed up thing, is everybody saw it happen. but they are so militantly they're so militantly attached to whatever narrative that they're told to do that they will not relent. They won't relent. That's the problem. And the media will tell you to your face that you're lying. I know you see this, but you're actually lying. I want to get into the her stuff real quick, but the plane supposedly that Qatar was going to donate to.
I've heard about this. Yeah.
Okay, and it was like, oh, Trump can't do that. Trump can't do that. Trump can't do that.
Right.
Listen to where it actually came from.
The United States take a 747, but here's what's interesting to me, what the media isn't telling you, what no one's talking to you about, is this same 747 has been in negotiations for a year. The Biden administration is the one that started these conversations. It didn't start underneath the Trump administration. Why? Because we need a backup for Air Force One, because right now the President of the United States is flying around on a 40-year-old plane, and there is no backup for it. The backup we had, the airframe started having structural issues. No one's.
So all you hear about is how Trump wants to get this plane and Trump wants to get this plane, but it started actually talking about it during the Biden administration.
Yeah, I think people are talking about how Boeing's been dropping the ball on delivering these planes that were ordered during the first Trump administration.
Right. And they're not going to deliver it until like almost 29.
The J.D. Vance administration?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was, here's another one. Another freaking, this is CNN.
The political optics. I don't think, I think the worst.
So this was Biden had tripped and fallen down on some sandbags or something.
Part of today for the president was the political optics. I don't think there's really any, this is not some sort of ominous talisman about his medical condition.
I fell in the hallway because I was wearing high heels and walking too fast recently. Well, it was actually about 3 years ago now, come to think of it. And it's so startling as an adult when you fall. It just like it knocks the wind out of you. And it's so you can't believe that you just fell. And he got up a lot faster than I did. Are you encouraged that you saw him back at?
This is the kind of shit we're up to.
Yeah.
That's the media right there. That's the media in a nutshell. All right. So we did get a couple years ago. Biden was interviewed by a special prosecutor about
because he got caught with a bunch of classified in his garage.
Yep. No, exactly. So they actually finally released some of the interview on this.
And there were documents related to the Penn Biden Center or the Biden.
So they're talking about 2017, I think, or something, right? This is after he was vice president.
Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on? So during this time when you were
the only question is, where do you keep these things? You were living at This is the only question is, where do you keep these things?
Cancer shot or your book. Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Well, I don't know. This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying.
Yeah.
His son died in 2015.
Well, it takes a long time to grieve.
Right. And then he also really screwed up thing is he came out I don't know if it's here or not. He came out mad after this interview, and because supposedly that he got questioned about his son's death. Did you hear any question about his son in that questioning there?
Not by the person questioning him.
Or the Biden.
Right.
Or the cancer shot. Or your book. Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Well, I don't know.
That's all I needed to say right there was, I don't know.
Yeah. He was also upset, or maybe his office was upset for him, that Hur came out and explained why he couldn't bring it to trial because the jury would find him incompetent. And he was upset that, that's what it was. It was like, so you'd prefer to go to trial then?
Right. No, exactly. So here was him.
There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, wasn't any of their damn business. There's even reference.
Who brought it up? Who brought it up? Michael.
Everyone in his cabinet is really failed their oath by not invoking the 25th Amendment. Every senior cabinet member who would have been a part of invoking it, failed the American people. Which is a violation of their oath of office.
It's just, and to go out now, and that's the biggest issue I take with it is the revisionist part that we're facing now, of you got people that are denying that they ever, he's been senile for a while, and that's the issue. Is now you have all these people that are gaslighting and saying, oh, we've been lied to. The White House lied to us. I can't believe that they didn't, that we were lied to for so long. We never saw this, when they know what they did. All these people in the media know what they did. All these people that are in government know what they did. The whole thing. And it's just, and they're writing books about it and making money on it. That is the thing that's just crazy. Jake Tapper.
And they actually think that the Biden cabinet was so smart, or his press staff was so smart, they were able to pull the wool over these investigative journalists' eyes for so long that they could never notice.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I know, dude.
They're actually dumb enough to think that we're that dumb.
Yep. No, exactly.
Even more insulting,
Yep. Here's another just brilliant dude.
I wonder what pasture he will walk off into.
I don't know.
Just kind of wander off and say, well, and Joe Biden, I noticed he didn't really tie his tie well. The tie knot suggested that maybe he has arthritis in his left thumb.
Where are you going with this?
I'm just saying, this guy says such random shit about
Joe, stop.
Stop. He's a
Oh no, Joe, don't you cuss on here. You're getting angry. Stop, Joe. You
don't have any viewers anyway, Mika.
Kindly old man who could not remember his son's birthday. Like, he wandered off into a pasture here, and, maybe Arnold the pig led him there. I don't know. No, you should apologize for her, because
I shouldn't have asked.
I don't know exactly. Like, does he hope he gets a judgeship? I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he.
People just
one word, and that was the profane rant.
No, exactly. Nobody wants to admit it. You're right, because they don't want to lose their job. They know who pays the paychecks. we're so, I mean, everything's so screwed up right now. Everything is so screwed up. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know,
and the party can't even give us a mea culpa for, you know, putting some dead duck up there to vote for.
Right.
I mean, I still don't believe at all ever that he got more votes than Obama did.
Oh, I know. I mean, there can be term limits on the Senate and the House, and, you know, there's already on the presidency, but we as people can do and create our own term limits if we just stick to it and vote out the incumbents, no matter the party.
Don't vote for an incumbent.
Vote for somebody completely different in a primary. And if you can't get that person out in the primary, then vote for the opposite person in the election, in the general election, and get out every single incumbent. Every single incumbent in the national offices needs to go.
In the local offices as well.
Oh, in the local offices. But see, that's the problem we run into is everybody likes their congressman. It's the other Congress people that sucks. And I'm
talking about your city council.
Oh yeah, no, I get.
But politics should be service, should be a portion that you do for a short while, then you go back to your life. It should not be your career.
It absolutely should not. And the Republicans aren't doing anything either. I mean, nobody. If everybody's worried about getting elected again, that's all they're worried about.
And I wish that we could have at least a different career path commonly lead to lead to politics than simply former attorney.
Right.
Exactly. Every one of them. Law. Only a few. Sometimes you get a doctor like Rand Paul.
Right. Yeah, you get a doctor
or former law enforcement officer like Clay Higgins.
Right. Yep.
But everyone else is just some crooked attorney.
Yep. That's what it usually seems. That's the majority of them. Or, you know, or they go into political, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Couldn't get a job as a judge, so I'll go be a politician.
Yep. And, you know, in order to be a politician, you got to have some charisma. They're all charismatic. But
that means they can speak to the public.
Yeah, it just means a lot. Most of them are narcissists anyway. So
yeah, you're going to need some narcissism as, you know, a political leader like that. I mean, you can't have someone without confidence, you know, in themselves, you know, taking the job. That's not going to work well.
No, exactly.
So, I mean, there's room for the narcissism, but it can't be your best quality.
Give me my fucking bag. What is wrong with you? What the fuck?
It's going to be a person about to get punched off a train.
Off of me. What are you doing?
Why aren't you kicking him with your other leg, lady? I'd give that thing a big wedgie and just throw it right off the train.
I would kick that thing so hard.
Yeah, you see those? You see those straps on the back of the overalls? That's one handle there, and then you grab them by the britches with the other, like another handle, and just give a good old 2-arm chuck right there.
Oh my gosh.
Good one.
That was a good one.
That was a good
All
one.
right. Well, hey, I figured out how to set up outros. So last night we did. I think we'll do the same one. We'll stick with Agent Gray this time. I still got to do your short. Maybe I'll try and do that this weekend.
All right.
Michael, you need to get off your feet.
Well, yeah, I got to get this knee moving again.
Yeah, you do. Or get up and move around. So
I will. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Good weekend.
Yes, and we'll be back on Monday with a follow-up and see what kind of crazy crap happens in this crazy trial.
Let's see how long these two microphones last.
They're going to last. I like them. I mean...
I liked the last two until we didn't.
Yeah, no, this is much better.
I do like the pretty covers.
Yes. No, exactly. Yours keeps going to rainbow occasionally, too.
Yeah, it does. I think I clicked a button somewhere, but...
I'll fix it. All right.
Okay.
Good night.
See you later.
Introducing Agent William Gray from the Bureau Undermining Misinformation. When it comes to misinformation, Agent Gray knows what's at stake.
We're the tip of the spear when it comes to protecting American democracy. We're the front line of defense against those who would see our country crumble.
Agent Gray appreciates the opportunity he has to make a difference in the fight against dangerous misinformation.
I was a high school teacher for 15 years. Every year I just gotten more and more miserable. My buddy told me about this new federal agency that was just starting up. I thought that maybe I was the kind of person that this agency could use. And what I would tell you is that I have been seeing what my students post online since before Facebook was cringe. Slurs that they use in Call of Duty chat rooms.
Agent William Gray, a dedicated warrior against misinformation.
Our mission is to protect our country's important institutions, but we can't do it alone. We need help from people